Welcome here to TalkFCB and welcome back to the channel, guys, this weekend as we return to La Liga action. Off the back, of course, of our huge win in midweek against Real Madrid in El Clasico, can we take now all of that confidence gained into this match right here? Because it is a tricky test against Valencia. We're going to be talking about that game to come where Barça still have big injury problems, especially in those creative areas of our team. So what's Xavi's plan going to be this time around? What is he going to do in this game? And we are going to be talking about tactics in today's match preview as we take a closer look on how this match may differ in terms of setup to what we saw against Real Madrid. It is all coming your way. It's going to be an exciting weekend, I'm sure. So let's do it. Because this Sunday, Barça will indeed return to their home. We are back at the Camp Nou after 3 successive away games. And I think that is a really welcome boost for the team. And I'm sure the fans inside the stadium are going to be really boosted by that win over Madrid in midweek. One thing, though, that I do have to bring to your attention, guys, it's an earlier kickoff time on Sunday. 4:30 p.m. local time in Barcelona. Make sure there that you're not missing kickoff, because I know there is plenty happening this weekend, but this one for us, it's a big one, because after our defeat last weekend against Almeria, our lead at the top has been cut slightly to 7 points right now over Real Madrid. Now, of course, that's still a healthy lead with 15 games to play this season, but by no means here can we start to be complacent. That lead can be eaten up very, very quickly if we are not focused. We have to look wherever possible to extend that gap, and I think it is going to be interesting to see also on Sunday how Real Madrid respond to that Copa del Rey defeat, because they are going to be travelling to high-flying Real Betis. That game is going to be after hours, so we have to make sure we're putting the pressure on them. But if we do focus on the job in hand, what we have to do this Sunday, because Valencia is never ever an easy game. Doesn't matter what kind of form either team is on, this is always a really fierce encounter. And I would actually say it's even more tricky and sort of uneasy, I feel, given their situation right now. Because Valencia, heading into this weekend, they're 18th in La Liga. I mean, that is unbelievable there. To see a club like Valencia in the relegation zone, it seems unthinkable, but it's happening to them, because this is a club that since the World Cup, they've been in turmoil. 9 games in La Liga since the World Cup. They have won 1 game. They have drawn 1 and lost 7. And you can see right there, it's not necessarily that they've been conceding a load of goals. They haven't been leaking 3 or 4 goals every game, but every single week they seem to end up on the losing team. They seem to be struggling their way through matches and just simply not picking up points. They sacked their coach Gattuso, and I think off the field as well, there has been plenty of turmoil there. The Valencia fans, I should mention this, are very, very unhappy about the club's ownership and the direction that their club has been heading in for quite some time now under their owner, Peter Lim. He has been destroying Valencia for several seasons, but I just want to say, the La Liga president, Javier Tebas, he doesn't care about that. He's not interested there, for instance, in what's happening at Valencia and their owners running them into the ground, because Tebas is far more concerned with what Barcelona are doing and not any other La Liga club. But the bottom line is, though, guys, Valencia right now are a team who are fighting to stay in the league. That's what they're doing. They're going to have to scrap for every single point available. And we've also got to bear in mind, they did win their last game. They beat Real Sociedad. That was a huge victory for them. I'm sure they would have got a lot of confidence from that. And they've had the whole week to prepare for this game. And with Barça having lost to Almeria just last weekend, we know exactly what it's like when you're facing teams there down the bottom of the league. Which is exactly why I do want to focus here on some tactical talk in today's video. Because usually, guys, against a team who are down the bottom of the league, we saw it against Almeria, this is the kind of game that we've become accustomed to. Barca there, very, very high up the field there with most of our players in the opposition half. Fullbacks nice and high. You've got our forwards there in virtually no space against a team who is setting up in a very, very deep block. There is no space in behind. There is limited space there in the middle of the field, and the only real avenue we have is out wide when teams want us to put crosses in the box. So the question would be, Well, why couldn't we just set up in the same way that we did, for example, against Real Madrid on Thursday, when Barça, let's not forget, sat very, very deep, actually in their own half. They let the opposition have the ball. They let the opposition there do exactly what we do in these kind of situations. And then on the counter-attack, think of all the space that we had. Think how easy it was for Barca, actually, to thread their way through Real Madrid with all of that space in behind them for us to exploit. But that will not happen here, because this is a very different game. This is a different setting inside our own stadium, and it's against a different opponent. If we sat back like this against Valencia, not only would the Camp Nou crowd not be happy, but you've also got to bear in mind, Valencia don't necessarily want to win this game. They would probably gladly take here a point at our stadium. So if we sat back like this, they'd be more than happy there to just sort of do the same, drift their way through the game, not really commit too many men forward, and then that tactic simply wouldn't work. They would be happy to protect what they have, which is where it's different now, because Barca are the ones who have to be in the ascendancy. We've got to go and take the win. What I would say though, guys, is I do think we still need to find some sort of answer, because looking at this approach here, this setup that we saw, like I say, against Almeria, without Pedri, without Dembélé, without Robert Lewandowski, I still see it as very, very difficult that Barca's attacking players right now, that Barca's creative players can break down that deep block. Valencia are going to be very stubborn. They're going to try and be organised, and it is not going to be easy without the injured players that we have to get through those kind of numbers in defence. So the kind of solution that I would just propose here is why not try and combine maybe the two tactics in a way. What I would propose here is maybe make it an open game. I'm not saying sit back the whole game, let Valencia get on top of you, let Valencia control the ball inside our own stadium, but what I am saying is, maybe at times, you let them come forward. You actually allow it to be a bit of an end-to-end contest. Let Valencia have a few attacks. Let them come out of their shape at times. Get them up the field. And to do that, we've got to line up with our strongest defence. Because when you start inviting pressure, when you start there just rolling with the punches, you've got to have a strong back four to deal with those jabs. But then we might see a bit more space appear. There might not be such a tendency from Valencia to just sit in there all game. If you just give them there a little bit of encouragement, just give them there a bit of a false sense of security, lure them out just to try and open up the field a bit, just to try and allow there our attacking players to have that bit more space, given the injuries that we have, so we don't have to try and thread our way through that very, very stubborn and deep block. Because indeed, when you do move on to Xavi's potential team selection this Sunday, he not only has to deal with no Pedri, no Dembélé, no Lewandowski, but also this weekend, there's no Gavi either. He is going to be suspended for this game, and even Xavi himself, by the way, he's not going to be on the touchline. He is going to have to be likely in the stands there looking down on the scene, because he is also suspended for a yellow card accumulation. But there is one piece of good news, as Andreas Christensen is back in the squad, fully recovered from that slight ankle knock. And what I would say as well is, Barca, after this game, have an entire week of rest before the next match. So what I think we have to do here is go as strong as we possibly can. I would certainly not be looking to rotate in this game as long as everybody is okay after that real battle that we had on Thursday. I would go as strong as we possibly can here. This is a must-win game. So in goal for me, of course, it is Marc-Andre ter Stegen. Although he was fantastic at centre-back, I would say Jules Koundé will be back over to the right-back position. Araujo will probably swap with him there and return to the centre of defence. I think it would be kind of harsh to leave out Marcos Alonso, given the fact that he was so good against Real, but this is a different kind of game now, so for me, Christensen should return to the starting lineup, with Balde continuing there. Let's start with our strongest defence. Let's make sure that we're well prepared there so we don't concede any silly goals. In midfield, I think it very much picks itself right now with the players that we have available. I think it also worked very, very well against Real Madrid. Busquets there, Frenkie de Jong, who was outstanding in that game, and also really promising performance from Kessie. He'll be hoping to really keep that going now and really capitalise on these chances he's getting in the starting lineup. And then I think in our attack, with no Gavi, the three of them very much pick themselves too. Rafinha, Ferran Torres and Ansu Fati. I'm sure all of them are going to start in this game, but how will they actually line up? Rafinha, I would say, almost guaranteed to be on the right, but then it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Ansu and Ferran. Ferran was down the middle against Real Madrid. Of course, he didn't really get much of the ball in that game. It was a tough game to operate in, and I think what we should see actually from those two is a bit of unpredictability. I think at times we should have Ferran down the middle, Ansu on the left-hand side, but there should be periods of this game where they do swap over, where Ansu can make central runs, where Ferran can drift out to the left-hand side, and we also seen really good attacking crosses from him, the kind of crosses that if we are going to cross the ball, let's at least make it quite dangerous from that side. In-swinging balls in is what we've seen from Ferran. But that team there, that is a strong team. Even with our injuries, it should be capable of beating Valencia, hopefully in quite a convincing manner. And we will see very, very soon what they've got in store for us. Because when it comes to the predictions, I have to say it's a lot more positive than what we saw before the Real Madrid game. But I think also people aren't getting too ahead of themselves here. Many people, I think, recognising this is not going to be an easy game, that goals are not going to be all that easy to come by right now. 2+ goals is the majority, but also plenty of people thinking this might just be another single goal win. And what I would also say, one more thing on this, guys, is let's start the game quickly. I think that's so important in a game like this, because if you can get an early goal, put Valencia on the back foot, then they have to come out. Then they have to come out and play. They can't just sit in and protect a 1-0 win for Barça. I mean, you can if you like. That's absolutely fine with us. But let's start on the front foot. Let's put the pressure on them. Real intensity from the word go. And let's get this win. It's been a good week so far. It's been a really productive one with that win over Real Madrid. Let's make it 2 out of 2. Beat Valencia at the Camp Nou. Come on. So please, guys, do leave your thoughts in the comments down below ahead of this one. We are all feeling a lot better. We are in better spirits. But now it's over to the players. Now it's over to Barça to keep that feeling going. Let me know your starting lineups down below, how you would be looking to approach this game. And of course, I'll see you after it for the full match review. Let's hope that's a good one. I will see you then for all of that to come, guys. Thank you indeed for your phenomenal support. But until next time, as always, Visca, Hail Barça!